said it's not a woman issue, it's a human issue.
We
and
don't
it's
know what is happening inside our body,
decades.
right?
We prepare for pregnancy, which takes 9 months, and we do not prepare for this long phase of life.
And we are not quite aware of it or what's coming.
The more you put it under the rug, the more the bulge is going to be. They not only retain them, but they retain expertise and experience. That's shocking, isn't it? But we have to use this truth intelligently.
Welcome, Shilpa. Welcome, everyone, to SoulTales podcast. I am Nalini Om, professor of biology and a podcaster, as well as a mind yoga coach. Today's podcast, the topic is the hidden truth of menopause, what nobody talks about. Coming to the women population around the world, world population or global population is 8.3 billion, and women population is 4 billion something. So little less than 50%, but close to 50% of the world population are women. Coming to a woman in her later stages, definitely a woman goes through menopause. What is this menopause? What is that hidden truth about this menopause that we all can find out with the help of our menopause coach, Shilpa? Let's see. Shilpa, when does actually menopause start?
Okay, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to your podcast. I really appreciate it. And that's a nice way to start the podcast too. So let's talk about menopause. So let's talk first what menopause isn't. So menopause isn't a decline. Menopause isn't a disease, and menopause is not a failure of the body. Menopause is just simply a natural biological transition of a woman's body. So, menopause can be defined only retroactively, which means that menopause can be felt only after it has taken place after a year. Menopause is defined as 360 days after your last period. So 1 year after your last period, you've not had your periods for a year, then you are in menopause, which means that you actually know that you're in menopause a year later after being in menopause. And though I find the word menopause very misguided because it is a process. So I prefer the German word, which is called Wechseljahre, which translated means transitioning years, because it is a process. And 1/3 of a woman's life goes in this transition. That's almost 3 to 4 decades. We prepare for pregnancy, which takes 9 months, and we do not prepare for this long phase of life. That's shocking, isn't it?
It's really shocking, and it's sad too that we don't know what is happening inside our body, right? Something is happening to us and we are not quite aware of it or what's coming.
Exactly. So puberty is celebrated because it's the beginning of the reproduction system, and menopause is considered as a decline and it has been misinformed.
Next question. There are three phrases: perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, I believe. How are they all different from each other? You just said it was 1 year after period stop or your last period is menopause. So, what are these other terms?
I was also clueless and I had not heard of this term till I got into it. So you are not the only ones. Let's imagine that it's a 3-act play. Okay. So the first act is perimenopause. And perimenopause begins with a slow decline of our hormones like the estrogen and progesterone. And we may feel some symptoms, and then it goes on increasing the symptoms as the decrease increases. And this period begins at the age of 34, 35,
Oh, is
and
it?
lasts for a few years. And you can recognize it lasts for till almost a decade, or sometimes even more.
Oh.
And then we go into menopause. Yeah. And then you also go through symptoms. And then you transition into postmenopause, which goes on for a decade and more. And there are some other symptoms that you go through. Your body is trying to adapt to this new change, to this new phase, and to help to serve you the best it can.
Hidden truth of menopause. It sounds like there is some secret that needs to be decoded. So, explain what is this hidden truth?
Of course. So, what I mean by the hidden truth is that the body is not betraying you. These are messages, and science supports this. There's a big study which was called the SWAN study, which went on for decades. And they found out that 80% of women go through hot flashes and night sweats, and many more symptoms can last longer than previously thought. So you see, what I'm trying to get back is it's the time to understand your body. Your body is signaling you, is trying to communicate with you. And if you understand what these symptoms mean, you can really transit through this phase, through this menopause in a very gentle way. So that's why it is important to stop suppressing and understanding the symptoms as problems, and instead using them as signals of communication of the body.
So, the secret is that it is natural, and many women go through this.
Yes, not many, all women go through this.
Exactly.
Look, Nalini, I have to say, everything in life changes. Everything. It doesn't stay the same. Everything, not only the body, but also nature. Yeah. Right now, we have summer, then will have rain. So everything keeps on changing. So this is a part of the natural process. But we have to use this truth intelligently to let us go through it in a very smooth manner.
I wonder why this has not been taught from childhood, and why is it not open truth? Why nobody talks about menopause openly?
That's a good question. I asked about it. We spend time talking about puberty and pregnancy, and that also took us time. So we need to take time to also open up to this a part of a woman's life. I would like to start with historically, health conditions of women have been always suppressed. Women have always had to endure. And we also have to realize there's a cultural aspect to this. Depending on the countries, I have had the opportunity to travel through different continents and talk to different people. and especially women, and I found that there is shame, there is not proper knowledge, and there is a lot of pain attached to this word menopause. And even the media has portrayed it as a decline.
Okay.
So we need to change this. We are here to change this. We are here to transform this. We just need to be open and talk about it. The more you put it under the rug, the more the bulge is going to be.
Yeah. We understand that old age is normal. One who is born has to grow, become an adult, and then go through all these phases of growth. But then in old age, what happens is body becomes weak, and women go through this extra thing. They are a little frightened, and right, the body is not the same, and suddenly one starts to profusely sweat. These are all the things happening. What do you tell women who go through these changes at that stage, that will give them the confidence that they can come back, or that is normal? What do you tell them, Shilpa?
Firstly, I would like to tell them just to start believing in their bodies, trusting their bodies. Until now, the body has served them, and even further on, it's going to serve. So the real issue here is that women need to find trust and confidence in their bodies by accepting that the symptoms are signals. And the more we talk about it in the open, because globally the doctors have studied very less about menopause. And that's why they cannot help us as much as we need them. So we need to inform ourselves, we need to have the knowledge and understand our symptoms and then go through it. And things do change, they don't stay forever.
True. I agree.
So even the symptoms keep on changing. So I'm here to help you, to guide you through these symptoms
Okay.
in the different aspects of life.
So you tell women to let that happen and accept what is happening, and that is so natural. Everybody goes through that, and that is how they start, or you help them to begin trusting their own bodies. This sounds good, and this is deep question that we need to reflect on, sit with it, and think about it and process it so that it will sink in. Easier said than done. It though it sounds like one nice good sentence to hear, but there's a lot to work on this one statement. So coming to the next one, Shilpa, I hope you don't mind me asking about your own journey. What made you think about menopause so deeply?
Okay, so I'm already in my post-menopause. So I have gone through this. And while I was in my perimenopause, I realized that something was happening to my body. And some of the symptoms were very natural, which usually happen. So just to give you a little overview, there are almost 34 to 40 common menopausal symptoms. But there are other 60 more symptoms which are now being associated to menopause, because each and every cell in our body, in a woman's body, has estrogen. So if there is a decline, each and every part of the body and the systems of the body are going to be affected. So one night, I finally woke up with severe pain in my shoulder, and I had frozen shoulder. So I had to go to the doctor in Germany. It happened once again while I was in India, visiting India. I had to go to the orthopedic surgeon, physiotherapy. And when it happened the third time, I said there was no reason for it to happen. So I was just wondering what happened. And I started connecting the dots. And I sat with my body and I asked my body, what is it trying to communicate? What is it trying to tell me?
Mm.
And when I stopped being afraid, when I just started listening, I could intuitively heal my shoulder without any medicine, without any injections. I have healed my frozen shoulder completely. I have no issues anymore. And that was the reason why my Masuk framework was made of. That's why I decided to become a menopause doctor and share my story with the others so that nobody has to go through this on their own.
Yeah. I have three questions for you, all piled up. So let me ask away. One is a little bit more about your Mesuk framework. So, where are you right now? Which country? You travel to different continents. And also, what are you doing with all these different groups or one to one individuals? How do you train or give this Mesuk method to people?
Okay, so right now I am in Europe. I am going to tell you about the Masuk framework.
Okay.
The Masuk framework has been made in such a way that it covers all the pillars of menopause. There are 5 pillars of menopause, which include nutrition, which include sleep management, which include movement and exercise. And the last two are stress management and mental well-being. So these are the 5 pillars, and Masuk framework covers all these 5 pillars.
So you cover all these in your Mesuk method, which will help women with menopausal symptoms and also treat it gracefully and also feel well when they are going through these phases. Is that what we can say?
Right. I do not call it the
Mm.
method. I call it the framework because method
Framework.
means that everybody has to go through the same method. Now,
Mm.
framework because each individual woman goes through menopause in her own ways.
Okay.
The thing is, when you talk about insomnia, maybe the body is trying to reveal that you are under chronic stress. So these are the way the symptoms try to uncover and reveal things which you have been through your life. For example, fatigue can be revealing that your unhealthy lifestyle, which cannot be supported by the body anymore. So before it gets any worse, these symptoms help us to know where we have to go. And in the Masuk framework, there are also 3 stages, just like in menopause. So I have Masuk queen ager. It's called, we're not teenagers, we are queenagers. So it's a Masuk. So Masuk means feeling happy in one's body. Masuk
Uh-huh.
is a Hindi term, ma and suk, masuk.
Mhm.
So our aim is only to feel happy in the body. And so we have me suk queenager reset, which is for 4 to 6 weeks. And it moves the woman from confusion to clarity. Then we have Masuk Queen Ager Reclaim, where it's time for the woman to reclaim her power, her confidence, so that she can go through this phase. And then the last one is Queen Ager Rise, where she rises to become the queen. where she finds her footing, where she lives her potential to the fullest. Because this is a powerful stage that she's going through.
Okay. And it helps women in perimeno and postmenopausal stages, all stages.
Yes. Yes. And then we have this mass, so community sacred circles that you were talking about.
Mm.
So these sacred circles have already been started in two other continents. So one is in Nicaragua, which is in Latin America, and then in Germany. So I have seen that we women, when we get together, we become more powerful. And when one woman talks about her issues, her transformative journey, her journey, things begin to transform. So first, people just look at each other and wonder what's going on, and then they realize, me too. Another woman listens to the conversation and says, me too, I'm going through this. So first, the tears flow, and then laughter begins, because then you realize I'm not alone. Because community enforces resilience,
Wow.
and isolation disappears through community. So you learn from each other.
So, hearing you, I understand that you are in favor of group sessions over one-to-one sessions. Can I say that?
Not really, depending. Now, just let me give you an example. Last year, for Women's Day on March 8th, I had a PowerPoint presentation to IIT alumni students from Madras. And there were two women who connected with me. One was in a very, very high corporate position. And while she was giving her PowerPoint presentation, she had brain fog. She could not continue with the presentation.
Mm.
And after 6 months, she had to stop working. She had to resign from her job. She had a teenager at home. She had old parents to look after. It was overwhelming for her. And then she reached out to me. And now I can tell you, she quit her job, yes, but she has started something on her own.
Okay.
And she's progressed so much. She's become another woman, and she loves to be herself, because that's her being. And it's the time when she does not have to look after everybody else. It's time to finally to look after oneself without being selfish.
Yeah. So, what I hear from you, Shilpa, I'm getting a feeling that this knowledge should be spread to corporates also. Do you do that?
Yes.
Okay.
It's important because, as I said, it's not a woman issue, it's a human issue, and it's for the advantage of business, because more and more women at workplaces go through menopause. And a 2023 study showed that 73% of women globally, they are in menopausal time. So they are between 40 and 60 years. And some of them leave their jobs, or they
Mm.
cannot work anymore.
Yeah.
So because of no menopause support. So if a company and the corporates give support and help their women employees, they
Mm.
not only retain them, but they retain expertise and experience,
I agree. Mm.
which it doesn't have to be more. So UK and the US have already started in their companies. So when are the rest of the countries going to follow? That's the big question.
Rest of the world is going to catch up soon, I hope, and especially with torch bearers like you, I believe that it can be taken forward. So I have some quick rapid fire questions for you coming up next. Shall I? Go
Okay.
ahead. Okay.
Please.
Um, Describe in short menopause for you.
Transformation.
Menopause is transformation.
Sacred transformation.
Okay. One symptom that was a biggest eye opener for you, either in others or in yourself.
Insomnia or sleeplessness, that you wake up in the night. And that showed me rest is not a luxury, it's a biological necessity.
Okay, in menopause, sleep is greatly affected, and your basic framework can help them, you said?
Yes, because we do a nervous system regulation, which does help them. Being a yoga therapist, I realized it's not enough only to do yoga. We need to do some certain other exercises and movements in order to be able to relax through our nervous system.
Okay. Because we talked about yoga as an exercise or yoga helps, I wanted to ask you one ritual that you never skip from your basic framework.
One, okay, mindfulness movements and exercise is a must, and sleep.
Okay. Sleep is
Sleep
crucial.
ritual. Sleep ritual. Yes. Yes, because going through different time zones, I also need to have a sleep ritual so that I get my sleep.
One misconception that you like to erase about menopause. There are many changes, but one misconception that people carry.
Again, I'll repeat, menopause is not a decline.
Don't
Menopause
go
is
ahead.
is a time to reinvent oneself.
Okay.
It's the body trying to accommodate you to the new truth where those hormones are no more there and you can look after yourself and release your own potential. It's your time.
I love that. Last question. I know hot flashes, night sweats, hormonal changes, these are commonly known. Insomnia is another one you added, or sleep is affected. Can you talk about other symptoms of menopause so that if people are trying to compare, oh, I don't have this, or they want to compare and contrast and match with other symptoms?
Okay, so we have brain fog, where you cannot find words, where you're looking for words, where you really think you have Alzheimer. I have a friend, she is a doctor and she went to a neurologist because she thought she had Alzheimer. And she also did an MRI, but she didn't. She just was in, I'm saying just was, but she was in menopause
Okay.
and the dots were not connected. So brain fog is one. Another one is, let me tell you some funny ones, is tingling sensation all over the body.
Oh, that is
Yes.
never heard of.
Burning sensation on the tongue,
Okay.
frozen shoulder, as I said,
Yeah.
constipation, bloated feeling of bloating, and a belly. You have a menopausal belly that comes. You haven't changed your habits. You eat the same, even if you're eating healthy, but you're putting on weight on your tummy.
These are I heard of some of these brain fog. I do slightly feel, and it felt good that thank God I might not be having Alzheimer's or Parkinson's because I got those tested as well because of my neck pain. Yeah, all these body aches I believe are also common.
Yes, very, very common. And especially among
Mm-hmm.
Asian women go through joint and body pains.
Joint pains and body pains, kind of
Mhm.
arthritis, can we say?
Yes, kind of, but you cannot call it arthritis because it does not have an inflammation. But there's an inflammation in the body which creates these joint pains. You need to change your nutrition and then you're fine.
Menopause is not the end of something, but it is actually the beginning of something new, something authentic, a new chapter of life. And also, today's conversation, it reminds me, especially Shilpa, when you said that this is a natural stage of life. What appears to be change or disruption or stoppage, it is actually an invitation to understanding ourselves more. So thank you, Shilpa, for making me understand and my audience that this is journey. This is not something that you need to fix. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nalini. I would also like to thank all the listeners of the podcast.